Eagle fans, we are in the final stretch of the 2024 regular season. Welcome to the Week 8 OCS Eagle Football Coaches Show, brought to you by McDonald's, located at 4065 Highway 165 North in Monroe. I'm Daniel Kirkendall, and this, of course, is head football coach Stephen Fitzhugh. Coach, great win on Friday against Beekman Charter, 47-0. Moved to 8-0 on the season, 7-0.
Yeah, we go
7-0 on the season, and 4-0 in District 2, 2A. And now, Coach, we got the biggest game of the year up to this point. On Friday, we host the Mangham Dragons, who sit at 5-2. Lost a close one last week to Oak Grove, 26-20. But before we talk about the upcoming game, I do want to talk about last Friday. A couple of things to look at, ask you about. And the first one, I love football. I've watched a lot of football. I've never in my life in a live game seen a drop kick for an extra point, and I got to see it the other night.
You and me both, and the referee.
Yes, that's right.
Gavin, he came up to me last week during practice. Said, "Hey, Coach, since the streak is broken, against Delhi Charter, he had hit 80-something consecutive. He said, could I try a drop kick? I've always wanted to do that." I'm like, sure, I've always wanted to see one, so why not? So him and us, the referees, that was the first one that I think anyone's ever seen. And so probably the first in OCS football. I can only speak for the last 31 years. It's not happened in that span of time for sure. So, but, it was great because last week when he asked me about it, there's a couple that they went this way, that way, line drive at the lineman. And so he was like, "Coach, really, I got this." And he did hit a couple. So it was great seeing him connect on that one.
Well, when, so Beekman got the ball first and really struggled to get anything going on that first drive. Long snap over the punter's head. Luke Vadream runs a touchdown in for our first score of the game. So I'm up there in the booth, and Grant Taylor was filling in for David Gordy, and we almost, were just expecting an extra point. And then we're like, wait a minute, did he just drop kick that? And so, he did, and it actually looked pretty good. So he put it through. Again, great win, 47-0. Really impressive ground game by the Eagles to start off that game. I do want to talk about our backfield for a minute. And first I want to mention Macon. Macon didn't play at all. And I actually saw him out there warming up, and I said, he looks like he's not really warming up to play. He was just kind of going through it. Is he all right? What's going on with Macon?
Yeah, he was kind of gimped up, so we were just letting him dress out and use an emergency situation if needed. But he's doing better and be good to go. So, Jude stepped in and did a great job, being the guy toting the ball. Yeah,
so Jude Turner had 12 carries for 147 yards, over 12 yards a carry. And watching him this season, we talked about it on the radio, on the broadcast, but the luxury of having two backs like Macon Leonard and Jude Turner. Jude's up to 11 total touchdowns on the season. Macon has 12 total touchdowns on the season. Talk about what you can do with those two guys.
That's a good combination. It's hard to focus on just one of those guys because regardless of who's in the backfield, they're both able to make plays. And so, again, that's a great luxury to have with those two guys. Offensive line, give those guys credit because they're out there paving the way. They continue to get better each and every week with our four seniors up there, and Micah Mosier's the junior. And so, again, offensive line is doing a great job of just continuing to improve each and every week. We grade these guys, and their grades continue to improve. They're just getting a good feel working together and stuff like that.
Well, in high school football, it's hard for anybody to. I think Macon's averaging like 9 yards a carry on the season, close to there. Jude's around there too. It's hard to do that at any level, but especially at the high school level without a good offensive line. So those guys played really well. I saw John Turner. He started the game, but he only played a couple plays, couple drives. So is he good? Is he good to go?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Hunter Canal got some good playing time there at that guard position. I'll tell you what else I noticed about the game the other night is we had a great crowd on hand. About 6:15, the stands were full. I mean, they weren't. It's not a big. It wasn't a big stands area, visitors area, but people were lined up all down. So I think we outnumbered the Tigers.
We had a good crowd, real good crowd. So yeah, that's one thing about OCS football is our fans, they support us. And, again, it's great wherever we go. We have an awesome crowd.
Yeah, so it means a lot to those kids. I know a lot of people are supporting these kids. The people who watch this are. Another thing, and here I do want to mention something else because I saw something that I haven't seen in a while on Friday, and that was number 33, Barrett Freeland, dressed out. And I think that's the first time he's dressed out, since he's been dealing with his health issues.
Yeah, that was his first game to get to dress out. He had a great summer, was our starter going into the season, did a great job in our scrimmage this year, and then facing the different health challenges he had, was not been able to play. But he's gaining weight, getting better, and so it was great for him to be able to get out there and get on the field and get some playing time. And so that was, great for everybody to be able to just knowing what he's been through right here to see him get out there and get playing time and get back in the action was great.
From what I know about Barron, he's going to do whatever he can to put himself in the best position possible to get back on that field and maybe even a starting position, special teams, whatever it is. But he's going to do whatever he can. He's a great kid to have.
Yeah, he is a great kid, hard worker, and just does things right.
Okay, so Luke Vadrine had a pretty good night. So because of the way that Jude Turner carried the ball and the offensive line blocked, it seemed like we were able to try some things on offense, some deep throws. We tried a lot of deep throws because it was almost like we can just give the ball to Jude to pick up a first down anytime we needed one. But Luke hit 8 different receivers on Friday night, 9 total. Cole came in and completed a pass, but he had 8 different receivers.
So, pretty impressive.
It is pretty impressive.
I told him during the game, he looked stronger than he just, for whatever it was during warm-ups and during the game. His long football, his throw was it just looked stronger. I asked him, I said, did you eat your Wheaties today or something, extra bowl? And he said, what are Wheaties?
Yeah, goodness. What's this world coming to?
Yeah, I tell you,
Yeah, he was pushing the ball down the field, hit on some good passes, and those receivers also made some really good catches, really good catches the other night. All right, one other thing that I have written down, the contribution of some freshmen the other night. Tristan Raymond had an interception. Desai Bradshaw had 4 tackles. Cooper Thomas had 7 tackles, second on the team for Friday night. Adler Edwards had 5 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. So if you will, Coach, talk about the evolution of these young guys that are actually getting some meaningful playing time right now.
Well, and that was good because, that's one thing with the running clock. It disappears quick.
It does.
When you hit 42-point lead and the clock starts ticking, the game's going to be over in 24 minutes. And so, it's awesome to get valuable reps for those guys. And we always like to start our offense off after the series to begin the half, just because, again, got to get in that groove and do that for one series. That's always an important series. But our young guys started off on defense. They were able to keep the shutout that the starters, I thought our defense stepped up and played well against the scheme that gave us trouble the week before. And so I thought we played much better defensively. And, again, our young guys got in there, got valuable playing time and made plays and did a great job. And so anytime they can get in on the Friday night action, going against the other team's still starters, that's big. And so, proud of those guys. And they've got valuable reps this year with our Monday night JV games and stuff. But anytime they get in on Friday nights, that's big. Yeah,
so I thought they all played well, and that again 4-0 in district, 3 games to go, and we're going to talk about the Mangham Dragons here in a minute. But before we do that, Coach, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and we'll talk with a couple of our senior football players. So I'm going to ask that you guys stay tuned for that, okay? And we'll be right back in just a moment after this short break.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome back, Eagle fans, to the weekly McDonald's Coaches Show. I'm here with 2 of our seniors to spotlight this week. Number 15, Cam Vullion. Number 50, Stacy Shaw. You've seen these guys on the field. They're having an incredible season. Guys, we're 7-0 right now. and 4-0 in district. So entering the toughest stretch of our season. I just talked to Coach Fitzhugh about last week against Beekman Charter, and then, of course, the big game coming up against Mangham. I'll be talking to him in just a minute about that game. You've seen Cam at the wide receiver position having a great season. Cam, talk about what you do at the wide receiver. Let me tell you something before you answer that question. I've seen you make some incredible catches this year. So talk about playing wide receiver and what you've done to prepare for this season.
Just preparing, coming up on the summer, just running, getting some routes in, focusing on my hands, my routes, stuff like that. And in games, it just shows. So just doing what I do.
Yeah, man. You're having a great season so far. I think you're up over 400 yards this season.
Yes, sir. I'm at around 450-ish.
Okay, and we got 3 games to go, so hopefully, you'll continue that trend. And you also play defense too, right?
Yes,
Here
sir.
and there, some.
Yes, sir.
A little bit of cornerback. When do you come in the game? Is it in passing downs, passing situations?
Most of the time, it is in passing situations. I was on some passing packages for defense, and it's mostly for pass. Yes, sir.
Okay, and of course you've seen Stacey Shaw. He plays right in the middle of the field, plays center on offensive line, and on defensive line, I guess you move around a little bit. Play nose guard and our defensive end mostly.
Really in now because we got Jackson man at nose, and he'll clog the lanes up. So he would like to have me and Waller on the edge for speed. But me and Coach V were talking. We were like, these guys, the tackles, when they kick back, they show a lot. So we can mirror the tackles this week, and they show a lot of screens and runs and pass really easily. And
yeah, so if they drop back, you're going to do the same thing. Okay. Yeah, watch for that screen. They do run a lot of screens, a lot of sweeps to the outside, things like that. And so Stacey's had several sacks this season. I want to talk about you guys because on the field, we see you out there. You always have a helmet on, so, people don't really get to know you that don't already know you outside of football. So I'll start with Cam. Cam, what do you like to do besides football, and what other sports do you play?
I play baseball and soccer, or let's say freshman and sophomore year I played baseball, and then junior year I took a year off, but I'm coming back playing some baseball again. Soccer, always played soccer in high school and stuff like that. So sports, I got other sports going on, hang out with my friends a lot.
Yeah, do you like to do anything out when you're not playing sports?
Not playing sports. If I'm just at home doing nothing, I'll play the game.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Stacey?
I play one sport right now. I took a break off basketball my sophomore year, I believe, when Coach Ed left. And outside of school, I still play a lot of basketball at the rec.
Okay.
So anywhere, outside, rec, backyard, anywhere I'll play. It don't matter to me.
All right. So, both of you guys, I got an interesting story to tell you, Stacey, and you probably know it, but the first night that I lived in Monroe, Louisiana, I came to an OCS football game. It was in 2017, and we lost in a playoff game. But nobody didn't know anybody, and went and sat down, and I met your mom. Your mom was one of the first people I ever met, and she reminds me of that almost every time I see her. And I know she's going to watch this, isn't she?
Yes.
Yeah, she's definitely going to watch it.
Viewers.
Yeah. And so what's it like to have a family that supports you like that?
It's great. My mom always had my back since forever. She always, good or bad, she always on my side. So I'm just grateful to have a mom like her, and she loved me, and she loved OCS. She loves OCS.
She loves OCS.
And you're not the first person to tell me that, because everybody that's new, she finds them. I don't know how. She has a radar. She detects the new people.
Well, it's great. And she comes up to me, she says other things like, hey, you let me know if Stacey gets out of line. So I've never had to do that, though. So, and what about you, Cam? What's it like to have a family that supports you and what you do?
It's great. Just having both of my parents come out to all the games they can, stuff like that. It's just good to feel that support, and I know they do the same for me and my brothers.
Yeah, that's right. Your brothers is another thing. We've seen Carter come through. He's graduated now.
Yes,
now we get to see Cole on Friday nights also. Is that pretty fun?
It's cool to see all of us, just come through. I've got to play with my older and my younger, so it's pretty cool.
All right. So, going into this season, we had a new district. So there was a lot of things to look at. We graduated a lot of seniors last year, so kind of a new team, new district, all that stuff going on. But I know you guys kind of, going into a season, there's some things that you want to accomplish. So what are some things that you guys want to accomplish this season? Cam, I'll start with you.
State championship, obviously. That's just every team's big goal of the season. Just seeing everybody step up, with all this, had 9 seniors on defense graduate. I don't know how many it was total, but it was a lot.
Like 17.
Yeah, 17 total. Everyone really had to step up, and I think we're doing a great job at that.
Yeah, I think so too. Kind of had to come together as a team pretty quickly. So what about you, Stacy?
State championship.
Yeah.
Everybody doubted us in the beginning of the season. We were young, and we lost all the good players like Lovelady, Tate, Ryder. But I was telling people, like, I'm really not worried about it because we got good coaching.
Your cousin Ben, too.
Yeah, Ben.
Yeah,
we got good coaching.
You got to mention him. Yeah, y'all do have good coaching. So
I feel like we'll never have a down year. So that's just in my opinion.
Well, it's great to have that on your senior year again, sitting at 7-0. So all that's still a possibility. Big game this Friday. All right, real quick, kind of the last question. In a couple months, you're going to graduate. Stacy, I'll start with you this time. Do you have plans together for after graduation yet, or opportunities?
Actually, this past weekend I went to Southern, and I talked to some of the coaches down there, and I might either go to ULM or Southern. If I go to ULM, probably not going to play sports or just walk on my sophomore year. But if I go to Southern, I'm going to play football.
All right. What about you, Cam?
Right now, it's looking like I'm going to go to Louisiana Tech for college. Not super sure what I'm gonna go into, but and maybe something will show up with soccer because I've been doing really good there. So maybe some offers, something like that will come up.
Yeah, Cam's a goalkeeper in soccer, and so keep your eyes on these two guys this Friday and throughout the rest of the season. Hey, I want to say thank you. It looks like you're missing class a little bit right now, so I do want to apologize for that if y'all are okay with that.
That's no problem.
No, but thank you for your time coming here. Wish you guys the best, a healthy rest of the season, and all the success that you have in mind. Hey, we'll be back here in just a minute to talk about the Mangham Dragons coming to town this week and biggest game of the year for our OCS Eagles. We'll take a short break a short break for a word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Looking for a reason to try the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's? Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and the price makes 5.
So much.
That's everything you get with the new $5 meal deal at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome back, Eagle fans. I'm back here again with head coach Stephen Fitzhugh. We talked about the Beekman Charter game. Again, we sit at 7-0 on the season, 4-0 in District 2, 2A, and we've got our biggest game of the season coming up. And I know as a coach, next game is always the biggest game, but this one's going to be kind of there's a little asterisk beside it at the beginning of the season. And when they did the district realignment, we saw that Mangham and Oak Grove were in our district, and now we got Mangham here in Week 8. We get them at home on Friday night at 5 o'clock. Again, the Dragons are coming off a tough loss to Oak Grove, 26-20. And last Friday, I was kind of trying to follow the score throughout, and it was back and forth, 12-12, 20-12, 20-20, or 20-18, and then Oak Grove ended up winning 26-20. Could have gone either way, one of those games right there. But the Mangham Dragons and the OCS Eagles have a long-time rivalry. I've talked to some people before I was around that talked about some of their most memorable games here, and one of those was one time we went down to Mangham when they were number one in whatever the classification or however it was separated them, and we ended up winning the game pretty big. This would have been, early 2000s. Do you know about that game, Coach? Coach Bentley told me about it.
That must have been 2011. Now.
Okay.
They were undefeated, 13-0. We were 13-0. It was a semifinal game, and we had a good night. It was 54-0, and it was one of the biggest crowds ever at a football game. At home or away. I mean, it was standing room only, and it was an electric atmosphere. But we've had some great battles throughout the years.
Yeah, and I expect another one this Friday night. I expect an electric atmosphere. And, the head coach, Scott Wilcher, I got to know Coach Wilcher through softball. He coached softball for a couple years when I was coaching softball, and so got to know him. Great guy. But you know him pretty well. You go to church together. And so not only do the teams have a long history, but you and Scott Wilcher go way back. So is football something that you guys talk about at church?
Yeah, well, that's one thing. He sits on the pew in front of me, so we always share the. We understand each other.
Uh-huh.
We know the hurts of football, the frustrations, this, that, the good, and we always give each other a scouting report on this team, that team, whatever, if we're playing each other, and But I mean, it's also one of those days you go to church, you don't want to.
Yeah,
it's a good time to get away from football as well. So yeah, we've it's been one of those we know. Hey, it's coming all year, but we ain't sat here and talked about it, stuff like that. We got plenty of other stuff to talk about. So yeah, it's all good.
Well, I think Coach Wilcher's doing a great job this season. They lost their week 1 game against Gina. And then lost this past week against Oak Grove. But other than that, they've won every game.
That's it. And those both those games, 6-point difference.
Yep.
So they very easily could be sitting at 7-0 as well. But they've done a great job. He and his staff. Bo Meeks is with him. Bo was a head coach there at Mangham and at Calvary, and has done a great job with the offense. He is head coach at Airline. He has a lot of coaching experience and does a great job with the offense. Coach Yanez leads the defense and has had head coaching experience. And all those great men and do a great job of coaching their schemes and their players. And really, this year especially, overcoming adversity, they lost one of their biggest, best players in the Jamboree with a broken ankle. And so and then they had another player that was a senior get injured, about week 3 or 4. And so they've had to move some guys around and stuff like that, but done a great job of putting the kids in position to make plays and, not missing a beat.
Yeah, so the impact of this game, it can't be understated because Mangham in their in non-select Division IV, they're sitting right there at the top in the power ratings, 1 or 2 or something like that. Even though we're undefeated, Coach, we're sitting around 14 or 15 in the select.
That's not accurate, though.
Okay,
that's not accurate.
That's right.
Because the way the LHSAA and Go Preps, they are not counting the wins yet that we already do have based off of, Oak Grove has won 6 games.
That's right.
Mangham has won 5. Faraday has won 5. But we're not getting credit for their wins yet. And so, Coach Vadrine does a more calculated, up-to-date one. And so we're in the top 6 or 7 with the going ahead and getting credit for those teams' opponent wins. And so that's the difference in the way things are calculated, because again, you look on Go Preps and the wins that Mangham has, the wins that Oak Grove, and the wins that Faraday have, they're not computed into our schedule yet because we've not played them. But the fact is that they have 16 wins out there that, we're going to get credit for because, so anyway, but it is a big,
yes,
either way. I mean, whoever wins this game, you're looking at a 18-point PowerPoint rating as opposed to one that, is 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's right. And so to me, that's the big impact because, you own those wins, those opponent wins that are to come already, even though you're not getting credit for those things. But and opponent wins help your power rating. But the most influential thing with the power rating, of course, is winning football games.
Yes.
And so the impact right now with this game this week is huge. Like you said, whoever wins that game is going to really position themselves for a good playoff run. And I'm not trying to get ahead of ourselves here because, I'm not looking past Mangham or Faraday or Oak Grove, and I know you're not either. But I just wanted to make note of how influential this game can be on when you get in the playoffs, maybe hosting a game or getting a bye in the first round or not, or, whatever the situation may be. So there's a lot to shake out in these final few weeks. And you mentioned, and I mentioned it too, the job that Coach Wilcher and his staff have done, especially with some players going down. That's something that all football teams, competitive football teams, are going to deal with. So tell us a little bit about what we can expect, maybe from a scheme standpoint and personnel standpoint on this Friday.
Well, I tell you, they have great size. They are the biggest team that we have played up front. No comparison. Caldwell was big, but Mangham, they're front five on offensive line. Defensive line, their front. The small guy is 265. There's been some teams we play that have not had a big guy of 265, so they range anywhere between 265 to 300 pounds. I mean, they're big. They move well. Their defensive front does a good job of controlling the line of scrimmage. They got some corners that they're able to lock down and get in your face and play some solid coverage. And so it's going to be imperative, again, size. They have great size. And so it's going to be big for our offense to execute, communicate well, and pick up the different blitzes that they're doing, things such as that. On the flip side, their offense, again, big up front, and they move well. One of the biggest things that they do is they will pull both guards. It's called a buck sweep, belly, however you want to call it. But just getting outside and, again, getting a lot of bodies to the punch. And so you'll see those 280-pound linemen that will pull out there and lead the play for the running back on the tall sweep. Which Jatavius Miles is the senior running back, number one. He's been the guy this year, but the quarterback does a great job of running the offense. Miles, they're a zone type team, outside run type team as well that can hit you either way. And so defensively, it's going to be real important for us to play our gaps and do what we're supposed to do, be good tacklers. I mean, and again, keep them from getting to the outside because, another freshman they have is Rayon Bell, number 4, that they like to get him to the outside, and he has breakaway speed that, you're not going to catch him if he gets out there. So, again, it's just real important for our defense to play assignment football, do their job, be good tacklers, and again, just read their keys, do what they're supposed to do.
Okay, so, it looks like field position is going to be important, and I like to going into a game thinking that we have an advantage with field position when it comes to our special teams, with Gavin's ability on the kickoff and on the punt. Do you think they can play a big part in this game on Friday?
There's no doubt. I mean, again, when you have a team that has to start on the 20-yard line, because he's putting the ball into the end zone. I mean, that's just huge. And so, that, like I say, no doubt that plays a big part in the ball game. Is the field position that you're able to get from special teams.
I think there's something else that we're going to deal with on Friday. You mentioned their size, and I watched a little bit of film, and I think that their interior offensive line and defensive line are very strong. They're stronger than any team that we've played overall. Not just their size or their ability to move, but something else that Mangham does is they have they're well coached, and we've seen other well coached teams. But this team believes that they're going to come in here on Friday night and win this football game. I think that's what they believe, and so we're up against some competition. Honestly, that we have not seen this year. So I know that's something that you're looking forward to, and your guys hopefully are looking forward to.
That makes for a fun Friday night. I mean, again, that's what I told our guys. This is what football is about. You have 2 good quality football teams going to just battle it out there and play with the emotion and intensity that football is about.
Yeah, and then you'll see Coach Wilcher, no matter what happens on Sunday at church, and you'll shake his hand and tell him, I'm glad to see you this morning.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, Eagle fans, Friday night, exciting time of the year, especially with the way our schedule plays out. Mangham Dragons coming to Fitzhugh Field this Friday. Now, the following Friday, we'll make a long trip down to Faraday to play the 6-1. What are they? Trojans, Faraday Trojans, and their one loss is to Mangham. So Mangham beat Faraday. They got Oak Grove this week, so we've got to, I'll keep up with it. You don't worry about it, Coach.
Yeah.
You worry about the game.
We knew our last 3 games were all the brutal ones on our schedule. When we're 10-game schedule, the last 3 are the toughest.
Yeah.
And again, not in any particular order. All 3 of them are going to be battles, you know. So we knew that when the schedule came out that our last 3 games are one that, as we talked about, playoff type atmosphere that you got to be ready every week and start put our best games together.
Yeah, and you and your team have stepped up to the task thus far, and of course we close out the season week 10 with the home game, Thursday night home game against Oak Grove. They're 6-1, also lost to Calvary Baptist in week 1. So we've got a lot to look forward to these final 3 weeks of the season. Friday night, if you want a good seat, you probably need to get there early because I anticipate a huge crowd and a great football game. Yes, sir.
One thing we have, halftime, we will recognize our 2014 state champion football team. And so we have some former players coming back in for that again, that championship team of 2014, that Chance Clowers was the quarterback. And
was that Southern Lab in the Dome? Is that?
Yes, that was. And so, again, that was senior year of Chance Clowers and Josh Pennybaker and James Anderson, those guys. And so, they'll be back here for halftime to be recognized. So it'll be neat to have some former players here that hadn't been back in a while, probably. So.
Yeah, well, that just adds to the excitement of this Friday night, and hope you all can come out there and watch the game. Again, Coach, I want to thank you for your time, for your transparency when it comes to what's going on with your program. You're doing a great job with this team. I enjoy watching you coach and your kids play. And, again, Friday night's just going to be electric, and I'm excited about it, and I know our whole community is. I want to thank you. I want to thank McDonald's for sponsoring our weekly coaches show, and we'll be back next week to talk about the Mangham game and then look forward to the Faraday Trojans. Thanks for watching. Go Eagles.